So Dragic and Bam are listed as doubtful for Game 2. So in other words, the series is already over. Because the Lakers, I think it's safe to say they're going to have a 2-0 lead. We'll talk about what Miami can do with Kendrick Nunn and I guess Olynyk and some small ball, maybe some Myers Leonard, whatever. But Miami they don't have a shot without those two. And even if they're playing in Game 3, who knows if they're going to be healthy. They might be going at 70% or whatever, and at that point you've already probably going to have a 2-0 deficit. It's not going to look good for you. So the first thing to talk about, I guess it would be Kendrick Nunn. He did look pretty good in place of Dragic as the game was a blowout. I imagine if the Lakers have time to game plan for him and lock into what he wants to do off the dribble, off the ball and stuff, that it's not going to be as easy for him. I mean, he was getting into the paint kind of easily. He had one pick and roll where he went at Dwight, where he got in there and had a layup around him. One time he beat Rondo off the dribble when Rondo went for a steal. He had a couple of fast breaks. He had one cut play. And his 3-ball was looking pretty good as well, which it's tough to remember now because it was so long ago, but Kendrick Nunn was a bit of a contested 3-point maker, and he had one handoff play from Iguodala that resulted in a 3 that was kind of contested. So, it's a guy that they're going to have to care about. I mean, Kendrick Nunn is not just some non-offensive option. He's not Solomon Hill out there. And I imagine the Lakers will attack Kendrick Nunn and force him to defend. That's another guy that LeBron can mismatch hunt on, as he did with Duncan Robinson a lot in Game 1. So it does pose some challenges for Miami, but I think there's a chance that Kendrick Nunn could give you maybe 70 to 80% of what Dragic gave you. Now, it's probably not still going to be good enough, especially with Bam out, but it's something. Now, as far as what Miami is going to do to replace Bam, I mean, I mentioned it a little earlier, it might be Olynyk, it might be Myers Leonard, it might be just no center at all, because they did go with no center through stretches of Game 1, especially once Bam couldn't return. And we're just going to have to see what the right option is. I mean, when Olynyk is in there, you imagine LeBron's going to go at him, and I mean, if you're going to have Kendrick Nunn, Olynyk, Tyler Hero, and Duncan Robinson, 4 dudes who LeBron can go at, that's going to be tough. So you might have to sprinkle in some more Iguodala and some more Crowder as a result. Not as if those guys are going to slow down LeBron like that, but you're just kind of working with what you have at this point. Now, Olynyk can run some creative off-ball stuff, which could pose a little bit of a problem for Dwight Howard if Dwight is going to be guarding Olynyk and if Olynyk is going to be in there. I mean, for all I know, they might go Rockets style most of the game. They could have Myers Leonard in there more than Olynyk. I really don't know. I'm just kind of speculating, but you can run some pick and pops with Olynyk. I mean, Miami was already attacking Dwight Howard, and Olynyk makes it probably a little tougher for Dwight to do that. Now the Lakers can have another guy run out to Olynyk when the pass is there, and then you do what you can to get to the open shooter now, and Miami can still put out some good shooters. So it'll be interesting to see all that. I mean, based on the Lakers' ability to slow down Miami's pick and roll and stuff in Game 1, even when Dragic and Bam were out there, I would imagine the Lakers are going to be ready for that. But even so, there could be some possessions in which Kendrick Nunn is getting a screen from Olynyk, Dwight drops, Olynyk is wide open top of the key, and you could get some good shots off of that if you're Miami. I think there's also potential for Olynyk to have some sort of handoff plays up top. It's not going to be to the level of Bam, but because Olynyk can still shoot and do something off the dribble, you still have to respect him out there somewhat. And so you could still see some more of the Hero and Robinson and Jimmy and Kendrick Nunn handoff plays, and the Lakers are going to have to, sometimes it's going to have to be Dwight moving laterally, and it's similar stuff. It's just not as threatening because it's Olynyk now instead of Bam. Now, if it's Myers Leonard, he does not have as much dribbling as Olynyk does. Also, Myers Leonard's jump shot is so slow that it negates a lot of his shooting ability. So I could be wrong on this, but I feel like Olynyk could be more of a threat on those handoff plays and stuff than Leonard, and kind of just in general. Now, defensively, I think Leonard has a better chance than Olynyk because, Myers, he knows how to defend a pick and roll and all that. The question is whether he's quick enough to do it. Olynyk is a little more athletic, but he's also not as strong and whatever else. I mean, Miami's going to have to take some sort of a trade-off with whoever they go with at center, or if they go with no center, and we can talk about that now. I mean, you could see lineups. What would it be? It would be Kendrick Nunn, Jimmy Butler, Duncan Robinson, Tyler Hero, and Crowder or Iguodala. And the idea is fronting the post, bringing a bunch of guys to the boards, trapping ball handlers. They tried it with LeBron. It didn't really work in game one, but as I said, some of the shots off of those LeBron traps, they were still shots the Lakers had to make. It's better than giving LeBron a runway to the rim. And the idea could be, well, if we go with Olynyk or Leonard, LeBron's going to attack them so much that if we go small, we at least have guys who have a better chance of staying in front of LeBron, whereas Olynyk and Leonard have no chance. As far as how they can defend Anthony Davis a little better, I mean, my solution after game one was maybe you have to put a Bam on him more often. Well, that's out of the question now. Can Olynyk or Leonard handle Anthony Davis? No, they cannot. Perhaps Leonard can at least not get bodied by AD in the post, and maybe Olynyk could stick with him on the perimeter a little bit, but really they can't handle him, and that'll probably be that, which is perhaps another reason why you go small, because the idea is, screw it, we can't stop this guy anyway, so we might as well just have ourselves be as fast and as athletic as possible and send 3 guys at the ball, or 2 guys, and then as he makes his move, you can send another or whatever. And maybe you'll just have a better chance of doing that than sticking some 7-footer or however tall Leonard and Olynyk are, who LeBron can then attack whenever he wants to. So that's probably the solution. Can mention Derek Jones and Solomon Hill in this scenario as well, just because the Heat are going to need bodies at this point. And also, Jimmy is going to have to do more. I mean, I don't think it's going to be ISOs and pick and rolls for him every single play. I mean, Kendrick Nunn can still give you something and whatever else, but the chance Miami has now is Jimmy Butler goes off. And he did have a good game one, 23 points on really good efficiency. Now, within that, he did make some shots that I think the Lakers would not be kicking themselves over too much. 2 of them were threes that at least had okay contests. They weren't great, but they weren't horrible either. He had one kind of weird off-balance bank shot, hook shot over Dwight. So he played well in game one. He wasn't amazing. And we'll just see if there's more of an incentive on Jimmy pick and roll, Jimmy ISO. As far as how you go about that, I mean, you don't have Bam as a screen setter now. We mentioned already the idea of Olynyk and Leonard popping. You could see some of what Jimmy did against the Bucks, which was more mismatch hunting as opposed to just running pick and rolls with the big man like that. Not as if it never happened, but you get it. And we'll see if LeBron is on him a lot. We'll see if LeBron still does a good job of like fighting around screens and all that stuff. Looking at the baskets that Jimmy had in game one, there was only one where he really quote unquote got LeBron, which was he kind of pushed him out of the way a little bit on a like floater, basically. All the other ones were LeBron got switched off of him, or it was a 3 that LeBron had an okay contest on. I don't think Jimmy's stat line suggests that LeBron had a tough time guarding him or anything. But at the same time, it's not like he locked up Jimmy either, because Jimmy did have some shots that were over LeBron. So we'll have to see. The other things Miami's going to need, they're going to need their guys to go nuts from 3. They're going to need Duncan Robinson to be really good. The Lakers did a good job of not allowing him to get open. They're going to need Hero to be really good and make shots off of those handoff plays and stuff, which are now not as threatening because Bam is not part of them. Similar things to be said for Kendrick Nunn. So yeah, they're going to need to make threes. They're going to have to hope the Lakers don't shoot 65% from 3 as they did in the first half of game one. I think that's what the number was. It was really crazy. Now, they were cold in the second half, so perhaps that'll carry over for Miami's sake in this game, too. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting. Spoelstra's definitely got some decisions to make between small ball, Myers Leonard, Olynyk, more Jimmy stuff, attacking Dwight some more, and whatever else. But if I had to make a prediction, I think we are pretty much already done here. I think we could be looking at a sweep with Dragic and Bam missing Game 2. Who knows if they're going to be even good to go like that for Game 3 and beyond. So, yeah.